It's obviously a great result for your club. You must have been particularly wrapped, I guess, with the weight of numbers and the even spread of contributors that you had through the night.
Yeah, especially with some disruption in the lead up to the game. We thought we came away from round one in really good shape, availability wise, and then as the week went on, we just seemed to lose player after player for one reason or another. So there was and it's always hard when you have to shuffle a little bit. It wasn't as simple as a midfielder's gone out, so we bring another midfielder in. And so it was a credit, I thought, to the players' ability to adjust to some late strategic changes. And when I say late, like it was an hour before the game with some of them. And even the way the game was played, we had a suspicion that Adelaide might be looking to move the ball fast from their back half, but there was some adjustment required there, and I thought the execution, and I expect it from our experienced players, but I was really pleased with some of our younger players, the way they adapted to what we were asking for. So thinking Sean Manor, Ollie Dempsey, those sort of guys.
But just to tick them off, Mitch Duncan, family reasons, did he actually come over or...?
Yeah. He jumped on a plane about 4:30 this afternoon.
And Atkins?
Yeah, he was here, so he was pulled out of the game an hour before, just had an adductor issue that didn't quite come up. We were confident that he would play, which is obviously why we brought him. And we were a bit the same with Tanner Bruin. So he didn't get through his sort of truncated training session yesterday, so that was a bit of an easier call, but we thought Atkins would get through the warm-up and he didn't.
I mean, having said you had even contributors, there were a couple of standouts from up in the press box. Tom Stewart again.
Yeah.
Do you marvel at what he can do, and why is he so hard for opposition coaches to counter?
Well, if I told you that, I'll be telling them as well. Look, I've been in that situation plenty of times where you are acutely aware of how good an opposition player is, you know exactly what he does, you plan for him and he's just too good. And that was kind of my assessment tonight. It was a milestone. It's hard to believe with what he's given our footy club that he's only played 150 games. They might be up there with the best 150 games ever played. I'm biased, obviously, but the position he plays, he is just special. So I wouldn't be too hard on anyone who gets the planning a little bit off against him, because he is hard to stop. But I'm not going to give any clues.
Were you surprised he wasn't matched up for large chunks of the second quarter particularly?
Not really, but again, that's not for me to answer. But it's... I don't want to sound like I'm trying to support coaching fraternity, but sometimes you see a guy in a bit of space and it's hard to work out how it happened unless you're privy to their planning. And suffice to say, Tom doesn't make it easy for them.
Pretty near miss key mark of the year contender, just went through his fingers.
Yeah, well, it might have, I mean, wow, it would have been one of the best marks I'd ever seen. Again, I'm biased, but yeah, he had a pretty special night. Again, great game, full stop, but to do it on his 150th, and he had his family here, and thought it was just a really good night for our footy club and augurs well for what's possible for us this year. Because they're a pretty good team.
And what about the other Tom at the other end? 350 games next on Easter. That third quarter, he swung the game right back your way with all those 3 goals.
Yeah, he did, especially given we were kicking with the breeze in the third quarter and they kicked the first 2 of the quarter really quickly and looked like they had a bit of momentum, and that's where you rely more on your leaders out on the ground rather than anything from the coach's box. And getting into Tom, is pretty good policy for us, and he finished nicely and was largely able to steady us. There are others as well, but yeah, he was certainly influential down there.
And what did you make of the pitch invader as a coach, visiting coach?
I'd be annoyed if I were Crows. They had the ball. I know the rules are the rules, but I think you know what I think. I'm not going to say it, but maybe the fines aren't big enough. It's really dangerous too.
No, it's not your call.
You might as well ask me. I tend to give answers.
I feel duty bound. So, I mean, what would your penalty be for something like that? I mean, I think it's 6-year bans, or is that enough, or is it lifetime
I don't
bans?
know. I'm generally so far away from punitive reactions to almost anything in society. That's just not the way I believe things should be done. But there is one example. Maybe go way back. I'll show my age. Like Terry Alderman needed a shoulder reconstruction because one of these idiots. Was it Keezy that brought him down? Well, what if? Like, it's just, I don't know. I shouldn't be talking about it. Max up the back shaking his head. Sorry.
2 games in now, Chris, you're getting a handle on where your team's at? And
Not really. Though we're optimistic and positive, but we're also really respectful of the rest of the competition. I just think it's going to be really tight. And for my part, I suspect that it's going to be a case of not getting ahead of yourself when things are going well. And almost every team, I think, will have patches where they're going well. So don't fall in love with yourself. And when you have the inevitable patch where good teams just get the better of you, don't throw the toys out of the cot either. The AFL have done a really good job of keeping it tight. Most games are going to be pretty good to watch this year, I reckon.
Is there anything wrong with Dangerfield at the end, or is he just knackered?
No, I'm not exactly sure. He described a cramp. Now that would, if he was just cramping in both calves, I wouldn't be worried at all. But it was a cramp in his hamstring, so probably needs to be watched carefully. I'm just parroting what I heard him say to the media, so we'll follow that one up a little bit closer over the next couple of days and get back to you.
Sweet. Thanks, Archie.
Good.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Beautiful.